Welcome back. At this point, I've coached about 100 reps, and I tend to see the same patterns over and over again. And the pattern is that a lot of you get destroyed by the exact same type of prospect over and over and over again. And you know who I'm talking about. It's those fearful people. Those people who say all the right things during discovery. They'll be a yes man when you're having the conversation, but as soon as money is put on the table, all of that is out the window. And no matter what you say, I just have to think about it. Just need a night. This is how I make all my decisions. You're 100% right, Nick. Just need a night to think about it. You know who I'm talking about. Now, here's the thing. That objection did not come out of nowhere. A fearful person is not just a fearful person at the end, and they tell you that they're fearful many times throughout the body of the call if you know what you're listening for. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to listen with a real call, very fearful type of prospect, and you're going to see how I identified it and neutralized it before it became an objection. Now, before we dive in, just for quick context, this call that you're about to see is straight out of my program for my paid students, where I teach closers how to identify these psychological patterns. Like D'Aven here making 26 grand a month, or Chris here going from 3K a month to 30K a month, or Julian going from 2K a month to 20K a month. It's because they learned how to identify patterns early on. They also all sell to very sophisticated, very smart people, which is similar to what you're about to see. This was a pretty sophisticated woman here. Because what's happening right now to most of you, again, done this like fucking 100 times now, you're getting on calls and you're letting prospects lull you to sleep. This is what one of my mentors, Peyton Walsh, used to say. You're letting them put you to sleep by saying all the right things. And you're not challenging them when they show you language that does not serve the outcomes and obviously does not serve the sale. You think because the prospect's engaged and they're asking questions that this means that they're gonna buy. But then you get slapped in the face by what if this doesn't work, or I've been burned before, you don't know what the fuck to do because you never had the leverage earlier in the conversation. So before we dive into this breakdown, if you are tired of getting blindsided by these fear-based objections and you want to hit 26 or 30 or 10 or 20K a month, like everyone I just named here, hit the link below. I work with 5 additional closers a month because you're working directly with me and I do not have all the time in the world. I also take all my intro calls, so I obviously can't fucking take everybody. If that sounds like you, I'm gonna help you either find your place on the right offer or help you succeed on that offer, or a mix of both. It all depends on where you are. So without further ado, guys, let's dive into the breakdown. What you're gonna see here is I'm gonna be pausing at key moments. I'm not just giving you word tracks and what to say, but what to think behind them. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm seeing that you likely are missing, because what you're going to see is going to sound like your prospects, to be honest. And as always, there's always things I do differently in hindsight, and we'll point them out as we go. So I'll stop yapping. Let's dive in. Okay, now you know the importance of setting a frame. Now we're going to walk through 3 different examples, and you're going to see the entire customer journey from the minute we say hello all the way until they buy throughout this course. And we're going to do that with 3 different people. And so here we're talking about the frame. Let's dive in. Hello, Courtney.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You see and hear me good?
I can. Can you hear me?
I do. I do loud and clear. How'd you find us? How'd you find Raz? So I wouldn't really suggest most of you ask this question. It's not super relevant, and in hindsight, I'd probably take that out. But I used to ask, "How did you find us?" to kind of get a gauge. Also, this influencer had a little bit of an organic audience, and so we'd get some organic, some paid, and I'd kind of want to gauge, where they were. Again, don't ask this. Don't ask this question.
Instagram.
Instagram. How long ago? How long you been? Did you see after a few months that made you want to take it a step further and book some time to chat?
Um, that's a good question. I'm really intrigued by the YouTube video world. I've been blogging since like 2017, doing
Mhm.
influencing and things like that. So I have some income streams, but nothing that's like consistent and nothing to the level that I want it at income-wise.
Although I'd suggest not asking it, it gave me a little bit of relevant information here because I know that she's been trying to make money online and it hasn't been consistent, as she said, for 8 fucking years.
So I'm curious if dabbling in video would help me at all.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll make sure we cover everything. My name's Nick. I am Braz's right-hand man. We're business partners and growing. So boom, what are we doing, right? We're establishing the frame, right? And I'm maintaining high status. I'm Raz's businessman. I'm Raz's business partner, right hand, whatever you call it. Now, some of you may look at that and be like, oh, that's unethical. You're lying. Look, I get 10% of top line revenue. So technically I'm somewhat of a partner, right? But this shit's important that they know they're not just talking to some sleazy fucking sales guy. Like, I am someone important in the company. This Team is pretty packed, so you're stuck with me. I don't usually take too many of these calls, but you're stuck with me today.
All right.
I like to keep these calls pretty laid back. Now we're telling her how the call is going to go, which is the next step. And she'll like really just understand a little more about and what you want. If it feels like we could fill that, we'll talk about potential next steps. If not, we're definitely not for everyone. Like if it doesn't make sense, I'll point you in the best direction of what does. Would that be
Sure.
helpful? Talk about potential next steps, right? This is to drop her guard, but also put her in a decision-making state. And then the next part of dropping her guard is saying, if it doesn't, then I'll still point you in the best direction. You need to be worthy of my pitch. And if not, I'll make sure I point you in the direction of something that is, right? Now we dive into the problem. Let's get into the next example. Now we are in the problems. This is, like I keep fucking saying, the most important part of the call. This is where the sale is made or lost. And this is where you're going to get the context to be able to carry out the ethical gaslighting. And so, and that's where you're going to challenge them so you don't get objections at the end, right? Or you could be able to handle those objections. And so a lot of you will try to skip to that part and try to implement that and it won't land. And it's because what happens here is missed, right? And so remember the parts of a problem is we need, first of all, specificity is the most important part, but we need the problems, how they're affecting them, and the duration. Let's dive in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easy stuff. So let's rewind. I know you gave me a little bit. You said you have some streams, not consistent. Like, what would you say is the ultimate goal or outcome you're hoping to get out of YouTube automation? First question, what's the goal, right? Since it's a biz op.
Income for sure. A solid income stream.
Okay, solid. And what do you do right now for
A few things. I'm influencing, I'm reviewing products, I'm blogging, I'm coaching. So I have courses, two different websites. So I have a lot of different stuff out there, but it's just like I said, might have been the
Fuck, this woman has all types of shit going on. Where do we take it? Let's keep going.
niche that I chose because I'm in home education space. So I
Okay.
feel like I want to
Like
try different.
homeschooling kids, is that what you mean?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. And so I've been in this space since 2017, which has been good, and I've been able to do a lot of things with the income, but it's just not to a level where I feel like, okay, this I've really done something here.
And what are you seeing with that that makes you feel like you haven't done something like in your words? What, right? Use her words and remember to be able to get specific. What do we ask? What are you seeing that makes you feel like problem? What are you seeing that makes you feel like you haven't done something? Because that's what she just said. Like,
Because I see too many other people influencing, blogging, whatever, videos, all these different things, and people are making, 3K consistently a month, 5K consistently a month. I'm on a good month, I'm lucky to hit 2K, and that's if I'm hustling nonstop. So I'm looking for something that's like,
so listening is important because she just listed off all this like 20 different things that she's doing. And on a good month, she's lucky to make, what she say, 2K? Interesting. Let's keep going.
I'm not always launching. I'm not always having to be the face coaching in front with someone or pitching something. I'm kind of I prefer the back end. That's where I feel comfortable anyway. So I'm like, maybe I should dabble in this video thing.
Okay, okay. And so there's two things that I'm hearing here is like A is
I
to
also
be
like language is important. I want you to notice the fact that she keeps saying dabble because dabblers are typically not committed. And the fact that she's doing all this different shit and a good month is 2K means she probably has issues with committing. But I digress. The point here is we're getting more and more specific, right? So listen to the next question. Face and not always wanting to be the face. Um, but another thing is it sounds like you have a lot going on. So is it fair to say that you're pretty spread thin? No, it's not. I'm not spread thin. So that's the
Okay.
thing. Hustling on all of that, I can work 10 to 15 hours a week and have a good month. I'm just not growing. I'm not scaling. So it's like, okay, I can do this, but no matter how hard I do work, it's not getting above a certain level. Again, I'm thinking it is the niche that I'm in, that maybe if I were in a completely different genre of something,
Yeah.
because
These are just things to keep in the back of your mind, but she is externalizing and downplaying it. Right? She's saying that the reason she's not where she wants to be is because of the niche that she's in, not because she's doing 8 fucking things and working 15 hours across all these 8 different things. It's a commitment issue. But I'm not going to challenge her on that yet. right? And we're gathering context so we could challenge her in the ethical gaslighting later on. Let's keep going.
I mean, it comes down to numbers, right? The amount of people that are searching out homeschooling versus, say, the amount of people looking at gaming or,
Yeah.
so many other different areas. I feel like
Yeah.
this was just, it's not going to scale ever to the point that I would want it to.
Got you. Got you. There's definitely a lot of variables there. And you said something key earlier is having consistent income, right? You said on 2K is a good month. Like, what does it typically look like every month?
If I don't work at all, I mean, I'll bring in, under 1,000, 800 to 1,000. I mean, that's just the passive stuff. I've been blogging a long time, so that's a lot of links in there and affiliate marketing. I mean, you name it. And maybe I sell a course that's passive or things like
Hmm.
that. But I'm
Okay.
not actively the face of the business unless someone is coaching with me and I'm doing some sort of one-on-one. And the only reason I do that, which I would be willing to give that completely up, the only reason I do that is one of my highest, product things. Somebody
Like
could
one
come
on
in,
one. Okay.
yeah, is working one-on-one with me, and then I could make more money like that. So that's really the
Okay.
only reason I offer it. It's not what I want to do.
Yeah, yeah. I'm seeing a lot of dots that are going to connect here. Okay. And like, in other words, I'm like, okay, I'm gathering context because I know we're about to cook later, right? I don't know if I missed this. This is the main thing that you do, right? Is these courses and the home education, or do you also have a full-time job, or is that it? I'm
Yeah.
asking this because this is a red flag. This is what I'm saying. Like, you can't script this shit. You have to be present with the person. This is a red flag that she's doing all these different things and making 2 grand a month. Like, lady, how are you eating? Right?
No, I work from home, so it's all online websites, passive income, digital products, different things like that. But I have it all spread out in different. But it's mostly, I would say, it's a good percentage of right now just kind of passive. I mean, I don't have to be working in this business. That's why I thought it would be a good time right now if I wanted to open up another income stream to do it
Hmm.
now while I have the time.
Okay, okay. And paint this picture for me. Like, I've been in that place too where my income's up and down. Like, for you, the inconsistent income, does that have any effects on the day-to-day for you, or what does that look like?
Effects on the day to day. Be more specific. What do you mean?
So I
Sorry.
used
No worries, no worries. So I used to have like high highs and low, like exactly what you're describing here, and I had to be pretty conscious of how I was spending because of how inconsistent my income was, right? And so, do you see yourself having those kinds of effects of having to be like conscious of your spending, or not really?
Uh,
I'm looking
Luckily,
for specific problems here, right? Because like obviously high highs and low lows, like she's talking about making 2 grand a month or 600 a month, right? But we get some key information here.
I am not the breadwinner. I'm married and have kids and all that good stuff. So this is something that I do for my own personal fulfillment. I mean, of course, my money goes to certain things, but I'm not going to make or break the week if I don't hit a certain something. So
Ah,
I'm not
okay.
dependent on my income.
Okay.
However, I have things that I'd like to pay off and things I'd like to do and vacations and all these other things. A lot of times that's where these things come from is my income. If I have a really good high, that might mean something for my family. So yeah, it definitely affects my family, but I'm not the sole breadwinner.
okay. Well, that's good. I was going to be concerned if with what you said, the 2 grand, providing for a family. So that's relieving to hear. Okay.
Right. So I have all that to say, I have the luxury, and if I'm going to do something right now, I have hours in the day to do it. I have some time to dedicate to this. Um, and I'm familiar with a lot of different systems because I've been in the back end business a lot. So, like a lot of things that I'm assuming you guys might use for project management and different things like that, I'm familiar.
Yeah.
So, I also feel like okay, I have a little bit of knowledge that I think could be applicable to, my skill set might work in this area as well.
Right. 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 It's a lot of what's the word? A lot of I'm blanking on the term, but transferable skills, right? A lot of transferable
Yeah, they
skills.
overlap, right.
Yeah. And so for the most part, you said things that you would like to do. So luckily, married, he's the breadwinner, you're able to have the bills paid. I don't want to assume I know what you mean when you say like things you'd like to pay off, things you'd like to do. Like what kinds of things have to take a back seat do you see typically because of the inconsistency in income? Like, right? My mind is still tunnel vision on specific problem. And so I understand that, okay, she's not the breadwinner. Her husband's paying the bills, which makes sense because I don't know how she'd survive off 2 grand a month with the family, right? Now that I know that, okay, well, what kinds of things are you not able to do though? What has to take a back seat? I'm not moving on until I have a specific problem. Let's keep going. What does that look like?
Oh, just, I'd like to be able to do things with my children while they're still young, take them places. I paid for my daughter to go through after school program. What is it? She's a hairstylist, so she went to
Okay.
cosmetology school. All those things are things that I pay for. Things that kind
Ah,
of come outside of the standard, monthly bills and things like that. So
uh-huh.
yeah, I want to be able to provide some extras for my family. Any extra income that I get may go to paying debt and things of that nature. So I have two other kids and braces, and they'll be driving in 3, 4 more years. So, there's
Hmm.
always something.
Interesting. So, I mean, your income is pretty important then, right? Because without your income, then it's only living. I mean, I don't want to assume, but is that fair to say? Like, without your income, it's only
Sure.
like the base things taken care of.
Fair to say, for sure.
It's honestly not the strongest problem, right? There's more driving her, which we're going to get into later on in the call and later on in this course. But I know that she's not able to do more than just the basic things. Her family's not able to do more. Her husband's income only covers the necessities. Her income covers everything else. Key. Yeah. And you said you're married, you have kids. Does he know that you're looking at potentially getting support with another stream of income, or is it a pleasant surprise for him? So now we're pre-handling the partner objection here is what we're doing. I need to understand where is her husband at, right? Still in the problem stage.
No, no, no. He's aware that I am an entrepreneur at heart, and I've been dabbling in all sorts of side things since we've been
There's that dabbling word again.
married. So it's no surprise to him that I'm always into something.
So with this in particular, does he know about it, or he's just like doing her thing?
No, he's familiar with it. Part of the reason, so maybe the second half of the story is I have
Mhm.
two preteen boys that are very much into gaming. I have one that's maybe kind of good at it. I'm sure everyone says that. Everyone's child's gifted, right? But um, potentially, because I've always included my children in my business, we thought it might be interesting to we're not familiar with all the logistics, but somehow use his gaming clips and gaming content. I could be kind of the back end of that. And he likes showcasing that. And I don't know how it would all work out, but that's also why, yes, my husband and I have had many conversations about would this different if I switched to gaming, if I went to video, if I changed some things about my business or added these things, what it could potentially look like. So yeah, we've had a lot of discussions about this.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
And it sounds like he's pretty supportive of it and knows you're a hustler.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, and when you so the key with the problem stage is what you're going to learn is what is the I mean, what is the sale that needs to be made with each prospect. And so the sale that's going to be that's going to be made with her is committing and actually following through, not just dabbling, not just talking, not just thinking about it, right? She's not burning in pain because her husband is the one who pays the bills, which some of your prospects that may not be the case, but she has bigger goals for herself and she hasn't put as much effort as she can. And I'm knowing this and I'm hearing this, but I'm getting as much context as I can to be able to leverage this in the ethical gaslighting, which is in a couple minutes, which obviously this part of the course we're not going to talk about that yet. You talk about your kids. Is it one of those things that you would kind of get off the ground and then involve them as you go, or what were you thinking there?
Yeah, I'm thinking I need to
The
like I
point of
said,
this question right here is I don't want her to say at the end of it, oh, well, I wouldn't involve my kids, so let me see what my kids think before I move forward, right? I'm closing doors. We're closing doors as we're going throughout the process.
figure out the logistics, how everything connects to one another. And that's another thing. I know that you guys have a program. That's obviously what we're talking about today. I'm concerned about the learning curve, and I also don't want to get caught up in a program where I feel like it's too slow and I'm not able to move as fast as I want to. I know I've watched a lot of your videos. I watched a lot of the people who were success stories.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really have a lot of knowledge of different programs, different systems, how
Yeah.
different things work, how to outsource things, whatever. And so I'm hoping I don't want to get caught in a group of people that are completely novice to everything because I want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
fast track to get to where I'm going.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So like, I don't know how, which videos you saw or like how many of them you saw. But the thing about business, and this is why I like talking to other entrepreneurs, is business frame moves as fast as you do, right? So like we have David, for example, who his first 2 months made 8 grand a month, and then within 6 months, 50, and then before a year ended, he sold his channel for like 150 grand, right?
Wow.
So, but he already had business acumen, is what I'm saying. So obviously, we're not going to treat the 19-year-old kid who's just trying to get out of his parents' house versus the person with 10 plus years of experience. Like, we're not going to coach you the same. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's
that's
why.
good.
That's why these conversations are really important to kind of see where you're at. So I'm glad you brought that up there. And how long have you been? Right? Boom. Now we stop there. Now we're gonna move into the next example, right? The how long. So actually, I'll keep going. I'll keep going. I guess seeing the inconsistency and knowing that something needs to change. Like, how long has that been going on?
I kind of decided that that I wasn't going to scale about 2 years ago, but then I lost my father, and I've been
Okay, so boom. Now we have the duration, right? 2 years. Now the next part is ethical gaslighting, but this is key. I know a lot of y'all are probably super eager to get to that part of the call. I mean, to that part of the course, but you have to know how to get full context so you could be able to use it then. Because by now, I have enough context to be able to challenge her on not doing enough to solve this. I've been saying the whole call that this lady's problem is that she's not proactive enough, is that she's dabbling. She keeps using that word dabbling. Language is important. But I'm not just going to challenge her right away until I have the context behind it. Let's get into the next example. Quick intermission. If you're getting sauce here, if you're getting value, make sure you like and subscribe. If you want to be able to implement what you are seeing in real time on your calls, make sure to hit the link below. See if you qualify to be one of the 5 closers that I work with every single month to help you either get placed on the right offer, help you succeed on that offer, or a mix of both, which is what most of you need anyway. So back to the video, hit the link below, see if you qualify. Let's keep rolling.
our market. So yeah, I've been thinking about this for some time.
Okay, so about 2 years. And in that 2 years, what steps would you say you've taken towards maybe pivoting into something that can give you more consistency? Like, what would you say you've done?
I've
First step, identify, right? What steps would you say you've done or you've taken towards solving XYZ logical problem so you can overcome XYZ emotional problem, right?
done a lot of research in different areas. I've thought about buying an existing brick and mortar business.
What did we just get? The limiting belief of I've done research. Let's keep going.
But I'm so a work from home person. I can't stand the idea of getting up and going anywhere. So,
Okay.
I mean, I'm just too spoiled from being able to do my own work from home on my own schedule. So, yeah, I've done a lot of research, and I know I either want to invest in something, buy a business, start some kind of income stream. I don't know. So that's kind of why I'm here with you today to just see like if this could be a viable thing for me.
Okay. So don't let that go over your head, right? She says all this shit that she's been doing research on. She also says that's why I'm here to see if this is viable. So she thinks that being on this call is progress. So buying a business is one thing. What else have you researched on? Let's gather more context.
I don't know. I mean, I've been in this space for so long. I'm familiar with a lot of different avenues of just ways to make income, and I've explored some different ones. I don't know. Where I'm at right now is just the video space, and I know I don't want to be on video, but just the potential with it, you know. So I've done a little bit of research in that. But yeah, other than I'm just reading a lot of books, looking at a lot of different things, trying to keep my mind open to all the different possibilities before I land on something.
Reading a lot of books, trying to keep my mind open until I land on something. Mind you, guys, it's been 2 years that she's been doing this. Okay. Okay. And like, again, this is why I like talking to other entrepreneurs because we can get very caught up in like research mode, right? We can get
Oh,
caught
for sure.
up in ideas, right? And so this is coming from a good place, right? But 2 years is a decent amount of time to be researching and reading and keeping your mind open without acting, right? And so again, coming from a good place, like what do you think has prevented you from actually taking action on one of them? So what I did there was a little sneaky, right? So I put a little bit of an identity frame on her, and I said, as an entrepreneur, it's easy to get into this like research mode, which I'm ultimately planting the idea that she's been in that research mode. Now I'm gathering even more context, which is step number two of what's prevented you from taking action. We're going to expose more information about this limiting belief.
Wanting to know I have the right one to take action on because
Boom. Got it. Wanting to know I have the right one before taking action. Now we're about to cook.
I've spent so many years in the space that I'm in, I don't want to build something else again that isn't going to scale or grow.
I've spent so much, like, listen to what she's saying. I've spent so much time doing what I'm doing. I don't want to build something else that's not going to scale and grow. Like, this is very, very clear. And she's putting it on a silver platter. A lot of y'all would have missed this. Not anymore.
So I need to know whatever I do choose this last time or this time is going to be something somewhat successful and viable, because I don't want to put a lot of time and effort into something and it not grow. So I guess my research and all that has been what's a good fit for me, what's a good fit for what I want to pour my time into, and then what's gonna come back to me and all that. So I don't know if I look at it as a negative. Like 2 years wasn't a full-time job of me.
What is she doing? She's rationalizing and defending it, right? Exactly like I said, like, this is the belief that has formed her identity of being a cautious person. She identifies as someone who's smart because she hasn't taken action, right? She's protecting that identity. Like, she's telling me I don't believe it to be a negative thing. I'm not a bad person. I'm not stupid. And you're not a bad person. You're not stupid, but the belief isn't serving you, Miss Prospect.
Researching, but definitely wanting to be solid on something. I'm not somebody who's going to jump into something, give it a try, do a lot of things, and then go, oh, that's not for me. I want to know that. Okay.
Identity, like, now that we just went through this entire thing, you can hear it in her language. I'm not the type of person. What is that? Her identity. I'm not the type of person who just jumps in. I'm cautious. I'm careful, right?
Okay, I'm committed to this, and this is what I'm doing now.
Okay. Okay. Is it okay if I offer a perspective? Pattern interrupt. Now we're about to hijack this perspective. We're about to shift her belief and ultimately shift her identity and ultimately shift her decision making process. Because if not, if I just keep going here, what is she going to tell me at the end of the call? Oh, I just need to do more research and see if this business model is viable. Oh, I need to think on it. She's a cautious person. That's how she's perceiving herself based on the actions that she's done. This is what we need to change, right? Let's keep going.
100%.
Yeah. So when you say like the right thing, right? Like I'll put it this way. This is gonna sound like a super left field example. Just bear with me. Right? Let's say you're super. So now we're planting the idea using the overweight analogy. Overweight. You know you need to lose weight, and so you go through this rabbit hole of doing a bunch of research, right? The best diets, the best workout routines, the best cardio to follow. And on paper, you have the perfect workout routine that it's taken you some time to develop,
Yeah.
but then you still look the same, right? So like when we look at your situation and seeing that we've been researching and trying to find the perfect vehicle, is it fair to say maybe there's been a little bit of paralysis analysis there?
100%. Yeah. I feel like in the business
Boom, she agreed. Perfect.
that I'm in, it didn't grow, it didn't scale. And so I'm fearful of that next thing doing the same thing and kind of like tanking or the failure. Sure.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm being honest, that's 100% honest. Yeah.
I respect that. I respect you for that. So is it like a little bit of fear? You want to reward her for her honesty so she can continue being honest, right? You want to give her a cookie there. You want to give her an award, a reward, I mean. Fear of failure?
Sure, sure. I set out with the idea that this business was going to do something differently, and it didn't do that. So yeah, and like I said, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I've done a few different businesses, and not all of them have been successes. So yeah, you do get to a point sometimes where you get, a little jaded, a little nervous, and should I do that or not? I really genuinely respect this woman because she's being so honest and she's not running away from what's actually going on. But a couple minutes ago, she was. A couple minutes ago, she didn't see it as a negative. She thought that this is her being cautious. Now, as we're unpacking it even deeper, she doesn't want to fail again, right? And so this is her means of protecting herself. Let's keep going. Because it's embarrassing sometimes to be the
I
person who keeps
I
trying and
understand.
keeps failing, you know?
I understand. I totally get that. I want to say something here that's going to be pretty direct, and I
Okay.
promise I don't mean to offend you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm pattern interrupting again here because I'm about to hit her with a hard reality, a hard truth. A lot of times we confuse comfort and fear, right?
Sure.
It's not exactly a fear of failure, right? Because it's been 2 years of research. In fact, what it actually is from the heart here is comfort with failure.
Sure.
Right? So keep saying that this is her identity and her identity is how she sees herself. So you have to tread lightly here because you don't want her to get defensive. So that's why I install what's called help frames and saying that I'm saying this in her best interest. But what she needs to see is the very thing that she's afraid of, which is failure, is the exact same thing that she's living in right now. Failure. Failure is not doing anything. Failure is continuing to stay in the same place. That's exactly where she is. Because we've been in this place where nothing has changed. We've been researching, we've been thinking. And because we don't want the next thing to fail, we haven't done anything.
Sure.
And so, do you see how staying in the same place is, in fact, even more of a failure than trying something, it not working, and moving on?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. And so, like, and this is human, right? But this fear of failure, this way of thinking of I don't want to take a stab at something until I 100% know it's going to work. Do you think that way of thinking is serving you the best, or should we maybe start to let go of that?
Oh, yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, it's not the best way to approach it. Yeah.
So we're detaching her, this identity that's not serving her, from the identity that is serving her, right? We're detaching these beliefs here. And so that's where this is coming from. Like, is this worth holding on to, or should we let go of it? And she's owning it, which is good. And again, a lot of people would run away from that, right? And so the fact that you're not, you're smart for that. And it says a lot about you. Reward her for being truthful and honest. That fear of failure, I'm not saying it'll happen tomorrow or the next day, but that's the catalyst to change. Like, are you ready to overcome that way of thinking, taking a stab at something, even if it's not here, even if it's not perfect, even if you're not 100% comfortable? Like, are you ready to overcome that fear of that fear of failure and that way of thinking? So the one part I realized I didn't do here is asking her to justify that, right? But she kind of did earlier. So now it's, are you ready to overcome that way of thinking, right? And this is digging even deeper, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, why now?
I don't know. I think I just like I wrapped up a bunch of work projects. You know, our back to school season is in full swing. I had a lot of sponsored work I did. I wrapped that up, and I'm just now at a point where I have time, and I guess that's kind of why it's now. And I
This is a bullshit answer. Not only for the sake of the sale, but for the sake of her own success. She thinks that the reason that she's ready to overcome this way of thinking is because externally time just opened up. Again, a lot of you would let this go over your head. A lot of you would let this slide. And she's saying the right things, but then somehow at the end of the call, she still doesn't move forward. This type of language is why. Look at where we go from here.
don't want to go out and pitch myself for more
Mm-hmm.
homeschool related work. I figure if I'm gonna hustle anything, I'd rather start the new thing now.
Good, good. Let's dig a layer deeper though, right? Because
Okay.
again, like over the last few years, I'm sure there's been spurts of moments where we have time and then things get filled up, right? But the main thing here that we're identifying is fear of failure and like overcoming and letting go of that fear of failure that's been in the driver's seat. And so when it comes to letting go of that, like what do you think is different now that you're ready to have the internal conversation and not letting that way of thinking control you? Like what's different there? It's not why now to like start a business. It's why now to let go of this limiting belief. Why now to detach yourself from the belief and the identity that's not serving you? Why now?
The only different thing that I feel right now is just a vibe in the sense that I do want to change, like I said, just kind of the niche, the area, the space that I'm in. I feel like I've just kind of outgrown where I'm at in that respect.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I am ready to try something new.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do feel I'm to that level, just of my current situation that I'm like, I want to transfer myself into something different.
Good.
So yeah, I do feel that.
You sound like you mean that. So it's, in hindsight, I maybe still would have gone a little bit deeper, right? But the thing that allowed me to take this answer is she said, I'm ready to outgrow. I'm ready to move on, right? And so I'm going to reinforce this I'm ready to go and ready to move on by rewarding her again, identity framing her again, and saying, it sounds like you mean that. I can hear it, right? Because again, we're having a tough conversation here that's important. If we really look at that perspective that you've held on to, what has that costed you so far? Now I did it a little backwards, right? Because I asked her why now before, and if she's ready to overcome it before asking her what it's costed her.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Could have been the last 2 years. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And our brains are a funny place, right? Like part of you knows this isn't good for her. She knows it's not serving her, but there's also the side of you, like I said, that's comfortable, right? That's been doing this. And so like if that way of thinking were to show itself, the paralysis analysis, the fear of failure, would we as your coaches have your permission to keeping you accountable and empowering you to overcome that?
I'm always 100% on board for that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Are you sure? I'm not always this nice. I'm not always this nice, dog.
Yeah, I am sure. I'm not easily offended or like you can't really hurt my feelings when it comes to business because I want to learn and I want to grow. So that's, yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And what is it about YouTube? So what just happened here, right, is, and again, I think in hindsight, I probably would have gone a little more aggressive. We got her in at the end of the day. What's happening is she just detached herself from this identity that's not serving her. She said she's ready to grow past it. She gave me permission to hold her accountable. In other words, objection handle her. So if that way of thinking were to come up, which it fucking did at the end, there was still a little bit of objection handling. If that way of thinking were to come up, what are we going to do? It's me and her versus the belief that she's running away from, the belief that she's ready to overcome. And now it's not as much of a dogfight anymore at the end, right? Now it's me and her working together to overcome that, which is a lot easier to objection handle than trying to battle her. And the reframes and stuff they use at the end, it's going to land much, much harder. Let's move on to the next example. Now we are in future pace, right? Now we're in the heaven. And like I always say, your shit doesn't have to be perfect because I realized there's actually one part in here that I missed. Let's dive in.
Or like you can't really hurt my feelings when it comes to business because I want to learn and I want to grow. So that's, yeah.
That's like, okay, this might be the, and what is it about YouTube automation just as a model that kind of struck you that's like, okay, this might be the thing for me? Like what made you feel that way? So what did I miss? I didn't ask her if she's looked at anything else and then DQ'd those solutions. So that could have been a potential objection for me at the end. Like, yeah, I want to keep doing this or I want to do this other model, right?
I see how much that my kids watch videos.
Anyway, to keep going here, this is now me asking her why us, why this model.
And my husband and and I'm not I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of video. I don't like it. I prefer to read a book, but I see how a lot of people I know and in relation with just watching a lot of YouTube in general. And just the concept and the idea that for each view that leads you into the direction of money, I think it's fascinating to me in a sense. And so just like blogging was fascinating to me a decade ago, and you want to get in there and go, can I do this? Could I? Everybody else is doing it. Could I make some money at this too? It's just kind of an intrigue, maybe. Yeah, going from being the consumer to the creator, right? And like making off the views. And where do you feel like you would need the most help or guidance when it comes to growing your channel? Kind of the just connecting, I think, all the dots. Like I have the general, I understand it's automation. I understand you're outsourcing different points of getting the video created. I understand there's a small investment in order for you to get the videos out there. I mean, I understand quite a bit about it. So it's just what avenues you need, what the fast track, the templates on hiring people, the different little things that would just save me time, I think, to get to where I want to be without that long. I did the blogging thing on my own, and it was a long learning curve, to figure out. Right. This is important as well for a biz op. Is like, what areas do you think you would need the most help when it comes to this business model here? Right, so that you could be able to plug that in your pitch. You know how you were saying
you want to do this, but like when it comes to this part of the process and this part of the process, you've been struggling.
How you make money, how you monetize. So I'm hoping for, I guess that's my interest with you guys, is a faster track.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like you understand the beginning and the end. It's just that middle is still pretty blurry.
Right, right.
And you said something key about like you did blogging on your own. When it comes to this time around, what's like, I guess, switched for you that it's like, okay, maybe I should get guidance here rather than trying to do this thing on my own. Like, where did, right? We don't want that objection at the end of like, yeah, I think I'll try this on my own because she has a pattern of trying shit on her own for 10 fucking years or 8 years and not getting the result that she wants. We have to get ahead of that. That come from internally.
Oh, sure. I mean, as I'm sure you know and you've heard, just doing it on your own, it takes a lot more time, I feel like. Just, you're dedicated to more researching, and within anything I've just learned in this business, sometimes for some things you can pick it up on your own. Some things you're going to need some help, and in this area would be something that I'm like I said, I've of all the things that I've done, with blogging and social media, I've never done a YouTube channel, so I don't know the least about that.
Yeah. And there's I'm gonna drop a little sneaky identity frame here just to tighten that up one more time that she doesn't give us that objection because that is what's kept her from moving forward previously is not getting help, right? People, I don't want to say hard-headed that we just can't help who they've been through the season that you're saying of trying on their own. And so we're villainizing basically her past self, but we're villainizing those people, those people who know they need to get support, but then they just keep doing it on their own. Right? Those sales reps who they know they need to get advanced support. They know they need coaching to get to the next level. But they just watch a bunch of YouTube videos and think that that's going to be enough and then wonder why they're always at the bottom or the middle of the leaderboards. Right? And we know how they end up. Right? We don't want to be like those reps. You're smarter than that though. You're smarter than them though because you're here and you're solving this proactively. Right? That's what we want to get across. Right? But then the next thing they do, they still want to try on their own. They're still like, no, I have to figure it out. Right. And then they look up 5, 10 years and they're like, why haven't I made anything work? It's like, no shit. Right. And so I'm
Right.
glad that's not the conversation we're having here. And we're talking a lot about what we're getting away from, but where are we actually going? Right. So now it's time for future pace. Right. We found out why she can't do it on her own. We found out why this business model. Now time to future pace it. Let's say, well, first of all, what's the income goal for you?
I mean, at this point, to begin, I would be happy with like 1 to 3 per month, 1,000 to 3,000 per month. In the first 6 months or so, for me, that could count that small thing as a success. Because that would open up another income stream. And then if it's successful, if I could figure it out, I'd like to tap into maybe multiple channels.
Is 3K a month the real goal or is that the humble goal?
That's the humble minimum.
Right, because that's a very like protect myself type goal, right?
I'd feel like, okay, I've done something because it would exceed what I've been trying to do the last 10 years. So if I could open up another income stream where I started out above my highest over here, I go, okay, cool. Now this is something I can really start to focus on. And I think I would more than likely sell my other sites, to be honest with you, and I would go forward with that.
Yeah. And that 3K a month goal, does that allow you to be able to do the things with your kids that you want to pay for the cosmetology school comfortably? Like, does it cover that? Is it, or
3K a month consistent
nice.
would be a good help for me. Yeah, I would feel happy about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And as you know, money is just numbers on a screen, right?
Right.
Like 6 months from now, it's March of next year, you're making the 3 grand a month. What does that actually allow for that maybe right now, we're not able to do? What does it change for you?
Just freedom of a few different things, freedom of my time, freedom of being able to travel, freedom from things like that. Just consistency with knowing where income stands, knowing that if my husband has a bad month, I could actually step in and be able to help with that. Things of that nature.
Yeah. And this is going to sound like a crazy question, right? I've been very close with a lot of women who don't work full-time jobs and like their husbands work, right? And a lot of times, I don't know if this is your case, that's why I'm asking. There's a sense of like freedom, maybe, of having your own and having your own money and not having to ask him, right? And so for you seeing you're consistently bringing an additional 3 grand a month, that is yours. Does that open up that kind of a feeling for you, or that am I totally misreading and that's not you?
Oh no, that's probably been one of the reasons.
Boom. Boom. That's a fucking killer question right there when you're selling to a single mom. Or not single mom, a stay-at-home mom, especially something about making money, which is going to really help you get ahead of the partner objection if it were to come up, right?
Reasons that I've always had some sort of side hustle my entire marriage. I can't not, even though I want to be home and raise my children, just and my nature is I can't not work. I can't not contribute. I can't not do something. So that's just me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I can hear it, right? I can hear it in you, especially with all these things. That's why I thought I'd ask.
Yeah.
And like there's always two sides, right? So like when we look 6 months from now, we could call this woman Courtney 2.0. Right now we're identity framing. We found out what her heaven looks like. Being able to have an independent income, being able to do all that other shit for her kids. Right? Being able to have an income stream that exceeds what her highest month in 10 fucking years was. Now we need to talk about who's required to get it there. The one who's made it work, right?
Right.
When we look at that woman, the entrepreneur you're stepping into, what traits or characteristics do you think she has?
Oh wow, that's a great question.
Damn right, it's a great question. That's what I fucking do all day long.
Hopefully this time around, just less apprehension about things, less. I think this time around, I'm less concerned with what people think. I mean, you go through that in your first few years of like, oh, what are people going to think about? I put this out and I put that out. I mean, I'm past all that now. I'm older and just kind of in a different phase in my life. So really, it's just about. I hate to say this, it's about the numbers, the numbers on the screen again. Not about. It's just not a personal thing for me anymore.
Yeah. And so it's like being proud of yourself is what I'm hearing, right? Like
Yeah.
having a sense of pride. And when we look at current Courtney, what I said this because I asked her what characteristics she needs to have. And like I'm trying to talk about the positive traits, and she gave me about the negative traits. So that's why I said a sense of pride in herself, right? Now we're going to move into the negatives though. I'm also mindful that I'm like 36 minutes in and like this call is getting a little fucking long. So I'm like, okay, I still need time to pitch an objection into her and stuff. And I have this discovery only really lasts another like 3-4 minutes because after this it's consequence and then I pitch and then I still have time to handle her objections. And between objections and onboarding, it only takes me an hour and 14 minutes because I'm not fucking fighting her in objection handling. It's only like 15 minutes max, 10 to 15 minutes plus onboarding. Ways of thinking, what traits, characteristics you think maybe we would need to let go of if we really want to see her that isn't serving you the best now?
Yeah, that's a great question. Probably more just of the fear-based, because it is a little bit like I'm frozen to not take action because I'm afraid of failure and it not working out. So
when did we discuss that? Ethical gaslighting as well. The fear of failure, right? Letting go of the what if it doesn't work mindset.
yeah, probably leaving.
This, by the way, is how you can tell that you are actually having influence over somebody. When they are recalling specific parts of the conversation that you and them had. Powerful share.
A lot of that behind, not worrying about what people think and just, trudging on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And like the right question is life's a culmination of decisions, right? Like, are you willing to make decisions through the lens of the woman who has overcome the fear-based way of thinking, who's overcome the fear of failure? Like, are you willing to make decisions through her lens? Obviously, you guys know by now, what are we getting ahead of? Think about it, objection. Are you willing to make decisions through her lens? Because her thinking about it is making decisions through the lens that has not served her, which I can bring up at the end. Now, it takes some sauce to be able to bring this shit up at the end, which I'll show you how to do. But if you can nail this part of the call, if you can run through the way I'm teaching you how to run through it right now, you can raw dog the objection handling as long as you don't get reactive and pissed off. You can raw dog the objection handling and still get the deal over the line because you have influence over them and they know what you're saying is in their best interest.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe so.
You believe? She's using uncertain language though. Come on. So?
I do believe so. I think so. I mean, I'm not going to give you any guarantees. I don't write checks that I can't cash, but I mean, I believe.
She's protecting herself. I don't want to give you any guarantees. I don't want to write checks I can't cash. She's trying to still hold on to that part of her. And what was the question? Are you willing to make decisions through the lens of that woman? What do you mean you don't want to give guarantees? You don't want to give a guarantee that you are going to make decisions in alignment with the person you want to be? That's very clearly her trying to have a back door. Her trying to give herself wiggle room for objections.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I probably sound like I'm being nitpicky.
Right.
No, not at
It's in
all.
your best interest. Again, like I said earlier, brains are good at playing tricks on us, right? Part of you wants to leave a little bit of a back door. It's just human. And so when we look at these outcomes of having the freedom and the consistency and the pride in yourself and less apprehension and doing more for your family, when we look at these outcomes and we look at what's required to get there, and say, I think I'm ready, or I hope. Do you think that kind of language serves those outcomes well?
No. Yeah. I mean, I get what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
And so what do you think you can say instead that does, like if we really want to overcome this, that does serve those outcomes well and take us out of the picture?
I just want, at this point, I think that the mindset for me has to be, I'm going to do this. I mean, there's no other option. If I'm gonna get full on into this, I'm going to do it.
Boom. Again, this is how you know you have influence. She's being very mindful of her language, and she's not just saying that because it fits the conversation. You can hear that she's saying that because she knows this is how she needs to speak to get to where she wants to get to.
It just has to be a not,
Yeah,
not futuristically, but like, we're doing it. That's happening.
exactly.
Move forward.
Because we have to look at the alternative. And then we get into the consequence now, right? So, what did we do here? Just as a recap, we found out why this business model, why YouTube automation, right? We found out why she can't do it on her own. We future paced and found out what success looks like. We identity framed her and asked her if she's ready to step into that version of herself. Now we're about to get into consequence and then pitch. Right? Let's get into the next example. Okay, so we got our girl here who you've been following along the entire process. So let's dive in. Let's see the consequence.
I'm going to do this. I mean, there's no other option. If I'm gonna get full on into this, I'm going to do it. It just has to be a not,
Yeah,
not futuristically, but like, we're doing it. That's happening.
exactly.
Move forward.
Because we have to look at the alternative, right? The other side of it of what happens if another year or 2 or 3 years go by. We continue feeling good and doing research, right? We continue looking into different things, but we don't actually face that fear of failure. We don't overcome it. And we're in the same place and nothing. So, what's the context that I just used here, right? I used exactly what we spoke about. You continue feeling good and researching. Lady's been researching for 2 fucking years. You continue letting the fear of failure, which is what we found in ethical gaslighting, stop you from getting to where you want to get to, and nothing changes. Nothing changes because you didn't change. Have you thought about the consequences, or I guess what that would feel like?
I've thought about that the last few months, that every month I don't jump on this starting a channel thing. I'm keeping myself from getting closer to that consistent 3,000 or whatever it is per month. Every month that I sit and wait, I've thought that I could already be a month into something. So yeah, I have thought that I need to get on something. Whatever it is I'm going to do, I need to move forward soon.
And it's one day at a time, right? It's one day at a time is how we look up and months go by, years go by. And so, like, are you willing to continue settling for that?
No, I've kind of already told myself that in this next few weeks,
Part two, willing to continue settling.
I want to make a final decision on what I'm doing. Like I said, a bunch of my other projects have finally died down. I'm not taking on any new clients or projects, so I really want to focus on what the next thing is.
Got it. Got it. So assuming you find something that you feel good about, like you're ready to get out of that paralysis analysis and jump on it if it feels good to you.
If it feels like the right fit, I do want to move forward. Yeah.
So she was slippery as you've seen this entire fucking call, right? So that's why I asked her that. Sweet. Sweet. Well, let's not let it get there. Like you can even hear my energy starting to increase, right? Because now we're about to get into the pitch, right? Let's get into the next example. We are back with another one. So this is one of the prospects that you've been following her entire journey. And so now we're going to get into the pitch.
Really want to focus on what the next thing is.
Got it. Got it. So assuming you find something.
If it feels like the right fit, I do.
I know for a fact we can help you, right? I know. Sweet. Well, let's not let it get there. Like, I know for a fact we can help you, right? I know I've been challenging you. So you see, this is why it's important for this to be at the end of consequence. Because I asked her what happens if nothing changes, and she's like, and then I got a consequence, and then it's such a smooth transition because I'm like, okay, well, let's not let it get there. I know for a fact we can help you. My energy's going up, right? My conviction's there. You super hard, but it's in your best interest because this is exactly what we do, right? Because you know how you're saying you want to get to the point where you have that consistent 3 grand a month. You want to make something work. The question is how, right? Like
Right.
when it came to the blogging stuff, you were doing it by yourself. Part of you got in the wrong niche. There was a little bit of fear. You don't want to repeat those same mistakes, right? Right? Boom. Right? I know for a fact we can help you, right? Because you know how you're saying you want these things, but this is what's held you back, right? You want to get it right and get it right the first time. That's exactly what we do here. So I'll start by telling you it's exactly what we do here. Now I'm going to shit on everything that the avatar hates. You what this is not, okay? This isn't one of those things where we're going to throw a bunch of videos and PDFs at you and say, figure it out. You're on your own, doors closed. That's not us, okay? Right? That's what they're scared of. Remember, we're keeping them safe. Everyone who considers investing into a biz op, their biggest fear is that they're not going to get the support that they need. It's not going to work out. We're also not going to throw you in a Zoom with 1,000 other people all trying to ask questions and then say everybody fend for yourself, right? And it's ultimately what we're doing here, one-on-one coaching specifically. Right? We just shit on everything that it's not. Now we're going to say exactly what it is, right? To get you to the point of getting you to 5 grand a month. So it's a little bit above your goal. 5K is the goal that we shoot within 6 months, and then giving you the tools and resources to be able to scale from there. So we're not building it for you. We're building it with you so you know how to take over. You get me? So if you want, I could throw my screen up here, show you the exact framework to get you out of this, and then we keep going from there. Would that help?
Yeah, I'd be interested to take a look.
Easy. Boom. Smooth transition. Now we're about to pitch. Easy. So let me know when you see my screen here. Okay, you see it?
Yeah.
Cool. So obviously that's us, right? What I'm about to walk you through is a 4-step process again designed to get you from 0 to 5 grand a month. And so I'm sure you probably saw 1 or 2 of these, and like I could brag all day long about our big students like David, 8 grand a month in 2 months, and then 50 in 6, right? Or right here, Adi, 35 grand a month within just a few months. 25 grand a month with Harrison. Like I could talk about all the big players, but I like to just start with the C students, right? The people who showed up, who did their part, and maybe they were able to leave their full-time job. Maybe they were able to have a couple extra grand to pay their bills. Like right here, Barry, 4 grand a month, right? Or we have Blake. It's a crazy story. He got laid off, started his channel, and got it up to 3,500 a month, which is about what he's making at his job. Or Salper right here, 5 grand a month within 4 months. Like it's not all $1 million. This is something else that I started doing too that isn't necessarily in the framework, but really fucking helps, is to start with social proof as well, right? Start with social proof. This is still kind of a pre-pitch because I haven't began the pitch, but the point is of the pre-pitch is you want them watering, right? Right?
Right.
Now all that sounds good for them, but what does that mean for you? Right? And so like I said, 4-step process designed to get you to that 5K a month. And again, like something key here that I think is pretty cool is you don't need 1 billion views to make money, right? Like this channel got 300,000 views over the course of a month and is making like 4 grand a month. They literally only get 10 to 20,000 views a video, which before being in this space, I would never see a video with 10,000 views and think that these people are making money. It didn't make sense to me, right? But it's all about the vehicle that you're in. Because if you look at this channel right here, He had 4 million views and made 7 grand. So nearly 10 times, more than 10 times the views as this channel. This is ultimately just me telling her how possible this shit is, right? More social proof. The the next two examples I'll show you are going to be more in alignment with the framework that I said of pillar, testimonial, pillar. The next one specifically. This is a little different because like I needed to throw a lot of social proof at this woman. It's just really fucking important when you sell biz op. Like they really need social proof because a lot of them just like, especially guys, especially like this woman had a lot of self-doubt and fear of herself. So had to show her she's in good hands and she'll make it work. But not 10 times the money, right? Because this is a channel about finance and they're going to be more.
Oh, how interesting. Okay.
What we're doing here is we're selling advertising space. You're in the hold on, I'll go back. Fuck it. And money. So I'm sure you can imagine the person that finances this channel, but not 10 times the money, right? Because this is a channel about finance and this is a channel about anime. So I'm sure you can imagine the person who's watching a finance channel, they're going to be more willing to spend money on ads versus someone watching Naruto. It has to make sense. Remember, logical brain has to be checked as well. That's what we're doing here. It's going to be less likely.
Oh, how interesting. Okay.
What we're doing here is we're selling advertising space. You're a digital billboard. And so we had to think backwards and think who are the eyes and what do their pockets look like? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, like I said, sounds good, but how do we get you there? And so the first thing is going to be super important, especially with what you told me earlier, is going to be the niche, right? We have a list of over 500 pre-vetted niches, but in addition to that, we're going to show you how to do the market research, how to vet a niche yourself. What's the data you're looking for? What are the data points in making sure that a niche makes sense? Right. The last place that I want you to be in, which it sounds like you've been in, is I'm putting so much work, but am I putting all this work into the wrong vehicle? Right. Fear of failure, right? She said many times earlier that she's been in the wrong niche and she doesn't want to repeat that, right? I'm making it tailored and custom. I'm working hard, but am I working smart? You're not gonna have to worry about that anymore because before any video is put together, before anything is started, we're gonna give the sign off. We're gonna make sure you're in a good vehicle. Okay?
Okay, cool.
Cool. Next part from there is going to be the action plan. Again, there's no guesswork, right? We're not just throwing things at the wall and hoping that they stick. Now, after we've picked the niche, we're going to sit down and we're going to put together a plan for the next 6 months, A through Z, of exactly what's going to be posted on your channel, right? And so I don't want you to be in this place of like, okay, I have this good niche, but what am I going to talk about? I'm pre-handling or preventing the problem that's in her mind because if you remember earlier, again, the niche was like the biggest thing for her, like logically. What are the topics on my channel, right? In my videos. You're gonna be able to look up 6 months and know exactly each and every week everything that's gonna be posted about. How you feeling so far? 2 steps in. Time check.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I like it.
Sweet. Now the next part, the team. You don't have a job. We don't want to give you one, right? And so this is going to be the team of freelancers that are helping put this together and make it a reality. And so when it comes to the team, we're going to both teach you how to fish. We're also going to give you a fish too, though. And so another thing to note here, right, is I like what I just said. You don't have a job. We don't want to give you one. Like she takes pride in not having to work a job, like she said earlier, and like doing her business and shit, right? So we're including that. Now, she didn't have a ton of like problems around how am I going to be able to make this happen. So I'm introducing them, if that makes sense. I'm introducing the solutions to the potential problems ahead. But it still sounds very custom to her because I'm still including small things she said. Giving you a fish is our community and our network. We've worked with some of the best freelancers in the entire world. And so you're going to have direct access to be able to hire from within. But like I said a million times, we're big on teaching you how to think. And so I don't want you to get crippled by the community because you have it. We're also going to teach you how to fish, how to read the resumes, how to look at the portfolios, how to run an interview, the questions to ask, what to look for, right? So you're not in this place where you're not working with the best people. You'll know for a fact you are. Okay.
Okay.
The last piece, 5K fast track coaching. You use the word fast track. I didn't go edit it while you were speaking, right? 5K fast track coaching. This is now. That's because she used that word a few times earlier. Like, I want to fast track. I want to fast track, which is perfect because that's exactly what the presentation says. We have all the pieces in place. Now it's time to put gas into the fire, right? Working with you again one-on-one, tracking the data, reviewing the channel, making sure things are moving accordingly to get you to that. Yeah, that's funny. I have right here pulled up how to shorten calls by interrupting. I wonder if she saw that. So I'm pretty sure I interrupted the hell out of her earlier. $5,000 a month, which is the ultimate goal. Okay?
Okay.
And just to bring all this home. So anyway, now we're done. Now we're about to transition into the pitch. I mean, into the close, right? Now I'm going to bring it all home and what it means for her specifically. Like what this would mean for, of course, having the freedom to be able to do different things, having the consistency and knowing where your income stands. More importantly, though, being able to build that respect for yourself of I've been able to make this work, and knowing and having the peace of mind that if anything were to happen with your husband or with his income, that you're in a place that you can take over, right? Because we've overcome that apprehension.
Right.
Quick pause. How do you feel? Boom. Now we're temp checking her, right? Made it custom. So far with everything covered there.
I mean, so far that all sounds good. Yeah.
Good is good. Okay. And with what we walked through, does this feel like the path of getting to that point where you have consistency, you have the freedom, or how do you feel? Right. Temp checking again. Like, does it feel like the path of getting you to the goal you said?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, yeah, of course, it sounds so far that sounds really good in theory. You know, if I could get to that, but I mean, there's no guarantee, right? I mean, do you have students you work with like? They're in the program forever, paying $5,000 a month because they can never, get to where they need to be.
Oh, no. It doesn't cost $5,000 a month. It doesn't cost $5,000 a month.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't cost. That'd be crazy though. Maybe that's a different business model.
I'm like, wow, that's a lot of investment per month.
No, it does. We could talk about investment. I promise it's not $5,000 a month. There is a guarantee, but I didn't say it purposely. I like that to be a pleasant surprise, right? Because at the end of the day, like whose responsibility are your results?
Oh, 100%. Like, but I guess that's my thing. It's like, if I work the program, it will happen eventually. Like, that's what I want to know. Like, there's no way I'm going to sign up for this, put all this in and be working at it. And like, I never am consistently monetizing. That's, I don't want to do that.
Okay. So we do, right? And the guarantee is that if you do your part, you show up, you check the boxes, within that 6 months, you at least make your money back. And if not, we'll give you a full refund. So this is to protect you that we're going to do our part, but it's contingent that you also do your part too.
100%. Yeah, I'm not worried about, I can
This is fear of failure talking, right? Like this is the exact same shit we spoke about earlier. She's already thinking about what happens if it doesn't work before she even knows the price.
check the boxes.
Easy.
I'm a box checker.
Easy stuff. Easy stuff. So I guess the question from there then is, do you actually want that support and do you want to hear next steps?
I'm interested in what the next steps are. Yeah, because I do feel like I want that support, but I do feel like the investment is gonna either teeter me one way or another.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the investment in a second. See, this is how I know we're about to get in the ring and I'm ready for it. Second, again, I've said this a million times. I like talking to other business owners because I've been in the exact place that you're in, right?
Sure.
And so like there's two kinds of business owners, right? There's the kinds that see an investment, it's not going to be $1 million, who see an investment and are like, I can't do that, right? There's a second type of entrepreneur who sees the same exact investment and thinks, how can I get resourceful to make it work?
Right.
An obvious question, but between the two, like, who do you think actually makes it to their goals?
Oh yeah. I mean, I get that. It's like, not to sound jaded, but I've put in different programs over the years and I feel like I've done the work and the things that I've been promised did not, come full circle. So there is some apprehension in that, but like, I'm going to do the work, whether I feel like I'm to a point where I'm going to try this YouTube thing, whether I try it with you guys or not, but if you're telling me, hey, we're going to make sure you can get to that 5,000 a month, then I'll get in your car, but if I can't really guarantee that, I don't feel like I know that I can get there. I don't want to put in the investment for like a maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, like, I want you to think through the frame of ownership, right? And responsibility, because we've been around for close to 5 years now. We've worked with almost 4,000 students, right? You saw the people we've helped. Our process works, right? The variable isn't us. The variable is the person on the other side, right? And so that's why we had boom, put the responsibility right back on her ass. Again, she doesn't even know the investment yet. that guarantee in place to be able to protect you, that if for some reason we don't follow through, which we haven't, for some reason we don't follow through, you're protected, right? And then something else that you said is, like, I'm going to do it regardless whether I get help or not. I want to say something. I know I've been challenging you all call. Can I say something else that's challenging there?
100%.
There's a couple things we identified as to why you haven't seen the success that you've seen with your current business. What was one of them?
Why I haven't seen the success from my current business? Well, one, I think I chose the wrong niche. That's for dang sure, right off the bat.
Okay.
So yeah, I get where you're gonna go with that. It's foundational, right?
Guidance, because you said you
Right.
did it alone.
Right. Yeah, I did it alone. Figured it out on my own. Probably chose the wrong niche. Didn't work through all that probably as I should have, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So should we talk next steps and figure out how to make it?
Yeah, let's talk next steps. You got me on that last one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just a gotcha moment though, right? Like, I genuinely want to help you out.
No.
So next step, super easy. What we would do,
Right? It's exactly what we fucking talked about earlier. Exactly what we talked about earlier is her wanting to do shit on her own, the fear of failure. All those things are coming out right now because the nerves are starting to spike. But I'm confidently leading her through it.
first make an arrangement to handle the investment, get you direct access to the program, and then book your very first session. Hold on, my light here is like falling apart.
Oh yeah, camera time, objection handling time, baby. I'm ready.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, take care of the investment, get you access to everything, book that first session. And so the total investment to have the guidance so that we can have consistency in income, we can have the freedom, we can know that it's going to work, is $7,800. Most people just knock it out in one shot, get it out the way. We could also break it down, finance it, make it more manageable if we need to.
Let me ask you a couple of questions, or you may tell me that we're not to that point yet. When you say get you in the program, is it a self-paced? Are you going to go in like a?
See, now she's asking logistical shit, and then we got the objections, which is for a different part of the course, right? But you get the point. This is how you present. This is how you lead. You see how I did not lose leadership at the end of the call here, even with all these non-buying signs that she's given me.
So boom, there it is. You saw what it takes to get someone who has a crippling fear of failure to becoming a deal and making a decision that is ultimately in the benefit of the outcomes that she wants. And I said this earlier, but this call that you saw is a part of my program. Same program that helped Colton go from 4K a month to 9K a month, that helped Zane go from 9K a month to 17K a month, Chris go from 3K a month to 30K a month, D'Aven hit 26K a month, Julian go from 2K a month to 20K a month, Alex go from 2K a month to 10K a month. I can fucking go on, guys. If you are serious about breaking past that 6 to 8K ceiling and you're tired of leaving money on the table because you cannot read your prospect's psychology, hit the link below. You'll speak directly to me and we will see if we're a fit for each other, if it's a win-win. But that's it for today, guys. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.